Jude Bellingham's legs went viral during the World Cup, with veins so prominent that people thought the image was edited. It's not. Here's the real science. To understand this level of vascularity, look at the anatomy of the human lower limb. Just beneath the skin lies the subcutaneous fat layer, which acts as a natural buffer. Directly underneath this tissue run the superficial veins, including major pathways like the great saphenous and small saphenous veins. According to clinical specialists in vascular medicine, when the subcutaneous fat layer is exceptionally thin, the physical contours of these vessels press outward, creating highly visible outlines. While a highly conditioned, lean physique fits this appearance, sports physicians warn against making definitive diagnoses from a television screen. A photograph cannot establish an athlete's precise body fat percentage, particularly in the absence of public, independently validated laboratory measurements. It is also a common misconception that prominent veins signal unusually high blood pressure. In a healthy athlete, they do not. Instead, this striking physical trait represents a normal anatomical variation, showing what happens when a minimal tissue barrier exists between the skin surface and the highly developed muscular structure beneath. This muscular blueprint is forged by the specific high-velocity movements of elite football. When a midfielder accelerates rapidly to beat an opponent, the action places extreme loads directly onto the quadriceps and the gluteal muscles. The reverse action is just as demanding. Sudden braking, pivoting, and cutting at high speeds impose severe eccentric stress on the hamstrings and the gastrocnemius muscle in the calf. Football actions consist of repeated explosive bursts, completely different from steady, continuous running. Over years of training, this conditioning, which blends raw strength, plyometric power, and sprint endurance, forces the lower body to adapt structurally. As the muscles grow, they alter the physical contours beneath the skin, pushing the superficial veins outward and making them highly visible against the surrounding tissue. This physical change is accompanied by internal cardiovascular adaptations. As these muscle groups work, they demand constant oxygen, prompting the body to improve local blood flow and build denser capillary networks within the regularly exercised tissue. This defined leg structure is a functional adaptation, showing the physical impact of years of elite conditioning. During a match, acute physiological changes immediately amplify this underlying anatomy. As intense sprinting begins, local metabolic demands trigger exercise-induced hyperemia, surging blood flow directly to active leg muscles. This rapid influx, combined with contracting muscle tissue, creates a temporary fluid accumulation known as the muscle pump. For several minutes after a hard burst, deoxygenated blood fills the superficial pathways, causing them to bulge. On-field environment and broadcast capture conditions further distort this visual effect. Persistent sweating leaves a glossy layer on the skin, which reflects the bright directional stadium floodlights. This high contrast sheen, combined with low camera angles, sharpens the definition of every underlying contour. Hydration levels also play a role, though fluid balance cannot be determined from a broadcast frame alone. While recovery apparel is common in elite football, its visual impact is often misunderstood. Standard graduated compression garments actually apply external pressure that tends to flatten superficial veins, aiding venous return rather than making vessels pop. While specialized blood flow restriction gear deliberately restricts outflow to pool blood, published performance studies on standard compression do not establish a visible vein effect, leaving match exertion and stadium lighting as the most immediate factors behind the viral image. This physical structure is the product of years of sustained training. Before the viral World Cup images, Bellingham progressed through the Birmingham City Academy from age 8, entering the demanding world of senior professional football as a 16-year-old. His subsequent development at Borussia Dortmund took place in an environment built around intense pressing and rapid transitions. As a central midfielder, he is responsible for constantly bridging the defensive and attacking phases. This position demands exceptional repeated sprint ability, the capacity to execute consecutive, high-speed efforts with minimal, incomplete recovery. The explosive accelerations, sharp decelerations, and lateral cuts required by this role are not single isolated events. Instead, they represent thousands of repetitions accumulated across successive seasons. The striking definition captured in match photos is the endpoint of this long developmental timeline where years of systematic physical stress have gradually reshaped the underlying muscle and vascular networks. While media reports often tag elite footballers with single-digit body fat percentages, sports science reveals a much more varied reality. Large-scale studies using dual-energy X-ray absorptiometry, or DEXA, show that top-tier outfield players typically carry between 11 and 15% body fat. These numbers fluctuate by league, playing position, and season phase. In reality, a body fat figure means very little without knowing the measurement method. Common bioelectrical impedance devices often underestimate fat levels, whereas visual estimates can easily miss the mark by several percentage points. This biological variation and measurement error explain why extreme vascularity is so frequently misunderstood. An average active athlete might possess low body fat or developed leg muscles, but they rarely experience the precise convergence of both. In elite professionals, years of high-velocity training build massive muscle volume that physically crowds the subcutaneous space. Combined with genetic traits like thin skin, superficial vein placement, and match-day blood pooling, this structural alignment creates a visual effect rarely seen in everyday life. The viral speculation surrounding these images quickly pointed toward shortcuts, from performance-enhancing drugs to severe dehydration. However, sports dietitians point out that no single photo can identify supplement or anabolic use. Elite football operates under a strict anti-doping testing regime managed by FIFA and the World Anti-Doping Agency, and Bellingham has no recorded violations. Deliberate dehydration is also an incredibly risky shortcut, as losing even a small percentage of body water undermines high-intensity match play and recovery. On the technical side, forensic image analysis shows zero signs of digital editing or pixel tampering. Clinicians also emphasize that highly visible veins without pain, swelling, or warmth do not suggest clots or vascular disease. This distinct appearance should not be treated as a fitness prescription or a target for extreme leanness. The evidence simply points to several ordinary physiological factors working together in a highly conditioned athlete. Bellingham's vascularity isn't a trick, it's the biological reality of elite conditioning. In a world of digital shortcuts, true physical peak is still written in muscle and sweat.